summertime, and this is where we supposed to be, is Summerfest. Artists from all across the country, all across the world will be performing right here in our city. And this is where we need to be. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm happy that I'm having a show, and I'm able to broadcast live from Summerfest. I remember when I was a little kid coming out to Summerfest, just looking at all the food, listening to all the different bands and things like that. And now I'm older now, and I'm a part of the entertainment, I guess, because we got a show broadcasted live from Summerfest, but it is nothing like Summerfest in the world. The largest music festival in the country. We also, Juneteenth, once again, the largest Juneteenth parade festival in the country. When it comes to Juneteenth, we do so many things well. We do so many things well when it comes to dealing with the community, the city, and the festivities right here in the city of Milwaukee. Unfortunately, there was an incident that took place yesterday at a Peace Day, MKE. There were unfortunate that there were some shots that happened around the situation. There have been some press conferences on the organizers speaking out about what took place yesterday. Unfortunately, there was somebody that lost their lives. Prayers go out to that family. There was a 17-year-old that was caught that they are saying that is responsible for the mayhem that took place. But like I said, as we take strides to move forward, sometimes things happen amongst good intentions, and what we want to do is continue to send our prayers to everybody affected, everybody, and salute to everybody that came with the right energy, with the love. And it only takes a few people to make a great thing, with the media look like it was a disaster. But I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna continue to push forward, and once again, whatever we can do to help those that were affected by this situation, we have to take part and make sure that we do our part. We have some audio on what took place. Let's listen.
We start tonight with some breaking news coming out of Washington Park.
CBS 58's AJ Bayatpour is on the scene, and AJ, what do we know right now?
Natalie, Jessup, we are set up at the northeast corner of Washington Park. We're at the intersection where Lloyd, Lisbon, and Sherman all intersect. You can see there is a massive police presence here. Just looking all the way down Lisbon, you can see there are those red and blue flashing police lights. As far as the eye can see, yellow tape everywhere. We're waiting for more information from the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. We are told that there is going to be a briefing from the public information officer shortly as they work to gather more information. It is mostly Sheriff's Office personnel on the scene here. They do control Washington Park and the parks throughout Milwaukee County, but there is also a fairly significant Milwaukee Police Department presence. Our photographer Robbie is going to be able to show you there are also a number of police personnel that have been wearing riot gear helmets. So that lends to the seriousness of the situation, which again, we are working to confirm what exactly has happened here. We can tell you that the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office has told us that they have not been dispatched to the scene, which is something that of course would happen if there was a death of some kind at this scene. We are waiting for that briefing from police, but what we've been able to see with our own eyes is at least 16 different police vehicles, mostly sheriff's personnel, but as well as police. We can also say that social media postings had advertised an event at Washington Park, a show in the band shell. It was called the Juneteenth Peace Event. It was described by organizers as an event promoting public safety, a safe space in a youth-centered fashion. Of course, this is a different kind of public safety response right here at Washington Park. We will keep you updated as we learn more, but for now, reporting live from outside of Washington Park in Milwaukee, AJ Mai, of course.
Hey, like I said, there was some shooting, and there was a victim later on after the victim was taken to the hospital that passed later that night at the hospital. All I can say is when we talk about people trying to come together and organize around our youth and around the ideas and the tough struggle that it is to really organize the youth right now, I just want to send up prayers to everybody involved in those events that are trying to push the community forward. They're saying several guns were taken from some of the people at Washington Park in the event and around the event. But, like I said, when you take on those tasks, there's always going to be something that's going to take place, especially when you're trying to turn the tough situations around. But like I said, if you're creating victims, then you need to go to jail, and we need to stand on that. We need to make sure that we stand on that. And if people are out here creating victims, causing harm to innocent life, and this is where we as a community have to really step in and do our part. And a lot of times we say, we'll point the finger at other ideas, but many times we have to point the finger at ourselves, because when tragedy strikes, how are we responding? When we see goofiness, when we see negative energy, when we see disturbing ideas, how are we responding? How are we trying to tackle these situations together as a whole? We can't leave it up to a few people to try to tackle the issues of many. We all have to chip in if we really want to see a true difference. And this is what I've been saying for a long, long time. Everybody have to take part. Everybody have to do their part. The parents, when you have kids that that are out here doing things, you got to get even more active and get them a part of certain organizations. At the Juneteenth parade, I seen Big Brother, Big Sister. I seen mentor ideas out there. People who are wanting children to mentor, needing children to mentor. You got to get active too. You just can't throw your hands up and say, okay, well, it is what it is. You got to consistently fight and try to get them while they're young, turn it around while they're young before it's too late, before they're out here and their hearts are vexed and they don't really give a care about anybody because they don't feel like nobody care about them. And this is what we
Truth Nation, all the juicy jammers out there. I am Ben Jammin, and that is your girl Carrie Noni Juice.
Yeah, I was keeping it juicy, y'all.
And y'all know what it is. It's amazing. All right, I have to be real with y'all right now, Truth Nation. I have to let y'all know how I feel.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I feel great. Okay, I feel amazing.
Why?
It's Summerfest Day. All right, we literally just had our very first Summerfest show. All right, down at Summerfest, and I was so delighted to be in the company with good people. All right, I not only got to try a cousin sub that had fried bologna on there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Since this is Truth Late Night, anybody tapped into us right now, I'm gonna let y'all know what was really going on in Ben Jammin mind. Because sometimes when it comes down,
They might
to
be
different
listening.
people, sometimes when it comes down to different people. Okay, you like, should I really eat your food? You know, they give you food. You be like, should I really eat it? And you know what? Ultimately, Truth Nation, I ate that sub, all right? And I was like, I don't like mustard. This mustard is great. Do you guys make this yourself? And I actually went on to ask, I believe his name was Justin McCoy, went to go ask the gentleman that, like, do you guys make this yourself? And he's like, hey, this is the mustard we serve up each and every day. So I don't only just get a turkey sub from Cousin Sub no more. Ben Jammin, I'm going to start getting fried bologna sandwiches made by white people.
And where you going to find those fried bologna sandwiches? Because you got to think, every white person don't make everything the same that could be good. So yes, you might have had it from this Cousin Subs and it was good, but you could go up the street to one of these little bars that you got in Racine. Y'all got a bunch of them, and you could go there and be looking for a fried bologna sandwich, and it might not come out the same way.
You know what? And it just might not. But you know what? Messing around with theirs, it was actually great. One thing that Justin told us during the interview earlier today is that his grandmama used to make him fried bologna sandwiches. I thought it was a little racist. I thought it was a little racist. But it's okay, though.
How is it racist?
Well, I thought only black people ate fried bologna sandwiches. I thought this was a part of the culture.
Just like how that one person in your DMs thought that black people only ate black cake.
You know what?
So you thought white people didn't eat fried bologna sandwiches?
Yeah, I never even knew white people ate fried bologna sandwiches.
I think it was just a struggle meal, and anybody in poverty or anybody just who's poor, regardless of race, probably ate them fried bologna sandwiches.
Dog, and I just
Except
remember.
for me, I didn't have a fried bologna sandwich.
Yeah, you really did revoke your black card today, bro. No fried bologna
I gave
sandwiches.
it to Justin.
You gave it to the white man. Like, oh my God.
I mean, shoot, if he had fried bologna sandwiches from his grandma,
he was in them trenches.
He didn't even say his mama, he said his grandma. That's how you know he was up to something when he was a kid.
He was in them trenches as a kid.
He didn't say, yeah, my mom made them all the time. He said, my grandma. My grandma used to make me them fried bologna sandwiches.
But see, that's how I knew. Like, that actually gave me even more trust that the sandwich was going to be that much better. I'm not going to lie. Because if he would have said, oh, my mom made it. Like, oh, come on,
right,
bro.
Or if he were to say, yeah, my wife makes some fire fried bologna sandwiches.
Nah, bro, I wouldn't have went for it.
His grandma.
His grandma made these fried bologna sandwiches. I don't know if he was German. I don't know if he was Irish. But
the only thing that would have topped it if he would have said, yeah, me and my cousin used to kick it in the summertime with the fried bologna sandwiches by grandma. It's like, oh, you one of us.
Bro, I really would have had to pull his card. Like, bro, where you grow up? What street? Like, where you at?
You would know, Racine.
I'm just saying. Because honestly, when you're a part of that environment, you kind of understand the dialect that people talk in. You know what I'm saying? Because there's different frames of speech for different people.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, when you go to work, oh, okay, I put up my tie. You put in your professional voice. You got this different swag and demeanor about you, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, on the other side, when you get home, you're a whole thug. All right, you take off your do-rag. You know what I'm saying?
What is that called? Code switching?
I don't think it's code switching. I just think there's different ways to approach different situations, and you need to know how to adapt in each and every environment.
So you don't give it a name?
Hell no. I think it's just more so. Well, I say it like that.
Like, are you offended?
I kind of was. No, but seriously, I don't give it a name. It's just people trying to find out a way to survive. You know, it's adaptability. That's a part of, like, not just human nature, but also animals out there in the environment, right? You got to figure out a ways to adapt to your environment. And I think each and every, forget about just, it being a black thing. This is a thing everyone does, right? Whether you're Hispanic,
so white people don't code switch.
Look at this white man right here. Look at this white man right here. Hey, what up? Hey, he just threw up gang signs. He did not.
I thought he gave a middle finger.
All I'm saying is, when different people approach different situations and environments, they tend to try to interact in that way. So again, they can not only adapt and survive. Yeah, they assimilate to their environment due to, again, survival.
I don't know. I feel like it's code switching.
I think it's just innate. I think it's innate in humans. But
you can still give it a name just because, it's not me saying it's not innate. It's just giving a name
code switching
to it.
Is such a bad, it has such a bad kind of connotation.
How so?
Well, if I'm code switching Noni Juice, I'm going to start talking a lot different. Hey, Carrie,
that's assimilate into your environment. That's literally what you got to do to survive. You have to code switch to survive.
No, that's code switching. All right, adapting to your environment is you still being you in your environment, but learning how to articulate yourself in that environment, learning how to move in that environment, learning how to survive in that environment. It's like, look, I may live in Africa, but if I ever decide to go to a continent that was mostly cold, do you think I'm still going to be able to survive there? No, I have to.
Well, I'm talking about black people in America. Well, it's called code switching. I understand in other countries and in other continents and in other states and in other areas and environments and neighborhoods, it might be looked at a little bit different, but I'm talking about black people in America. In order to survive, sometimes you have to code switch.
Well, how do you look at code switching? I
think it's fine.
What's your preference of code switching? How do you prefer to code switch?
Ain't no preference. You got to do what you do to survive.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that? I'm saying if you are somebody who has a corporate job, right? Okay. Let's say you Buddy off the hood and you got yourself a corporate job. You not finna act like Buddy off the hood. You finna act like how that corporate job gonna want you to act, so you keep that corporate job. That's what I'm talking about. That is what you have to do in order to survive. Sometimes people do it on the telephone. We used to have a coworker here. And Jason know who I'm talking about. I used to hear him code switch on the phone all the time. He would put on a white man's voice. And he was definitely not a white man. And he literally would say, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in order to get what you need to get done.
See, I think there's...
I think with you, Benjamin, I think that since you don't, you're yourself all the time, no matter what. And so I feel like you don't really have to code switch like that. I feel like Benjamin is always going to be Benjamin. It don't matter where you was at. It don't matter what you got on. It don't matter who is in the room. Benjamin is going to be Benjamin. So I don't think you code switch that much. So I think that's why you don't really have a problem with it, because it's you don't do it. You literally be yourself regardless. Even if you're supposed to be in a function and everybody else got on suits and you got on a jogging suit, you're going to be like, well, I'm Ben BB. I'm Benjamin. And you're going to walk into that room with that jogging suit on, with your Mexican J's on, and you're going to have yourself a good time being Benjamin no matter who is in the room. Everybody does not have the luxury to be able to do that.
Well, it just comes down to just perception. But what I will say is, it's funny that you bring up that example, because that's exactly what I did last week Friday. Okay. I went down to that Racine ball. All right, it was the sneaker ball down in Racine, part of the Juneteenth week-long celebration of Juneteenth down in Racine. I didn't realize that everybody was supposed to be in suit and ties. Okay,
did you not look at the flyer? I'm really confused.
Everybody went in suits and ties and their dopest sneakers. Me and my girl showed up in our leather jackets, but nonetheless, I enjoyed myself, talked to a few notable people down in Racine, and just did what I did.
But they were black, weren't they?
We were all black.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody was kind of, but it was mostly a black event. I feel like that's a little bit different, because you still around your people, so they gonna understand, oh, he just whatever. But if you walked in there and there was a whole bunch of white people and they all had on suits and ties and fancy shoes and nice ball gown dresses, and you came in a leather jacket, you probably would have been like, huh.
And then I would have just continued
been yourself, on
right? Hey, if I made a mistake, I made a mistake. It is what it is. Enjoy my presence. My presence is a present. But I think that's how all people should go about their day. Again, when it comes down to the idea of code switching, I think there's code switching to where you're not yourself, and then there's again adapting to your room and environment, and just again still being yourself and learning how to adapt in the room. And that's what I'm talking about. There's adaptability, and then the phrase that you're using, code switching. Well, how would you? I wonder if Mexicans ever feel like, when they go to decide to work at a
yes.
Hold on. Before they decide to go work at a Chinese fast food restaurant, before they in the back, do they study up on their grammar for Chinese people? Do they start to be like, Instead of like,
so that's how it's gonna be. Y'all want to play?
seriously, like instead of yo kid or Taco Bell, like they over here, you know, with the. Hey. You know, like, would that be code switching for a Mexican, for an Asian? You know, and that's all I'm saying. If you have to go outside of yourself to be in that environment, you more than likely shouldn't be in that environment, and that's your idea and definition of code switching. But my idea of
I'm correcting you right now, because that is not what I'm saying code switching is. And for you to try to use that example as what I'm talking about when it comes to code switching, you're not listening to me.
Bro, you ain't listening to me.
You're saying if a Mexican person wanted to work at a Chinese restaurant, would they start looking up how to speak Chinese in order to be at that job? Is that what you're saying to me? Is code switching? That's what you got from what I talked about?
That's exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly what you're talking about.
It's not, actually. It's not.
In doing so, when you were referencing black people going and code switching, most of the times, more than likely, we're always talking about them walking into a corporate office, right? Mostly talking about them walking into a boardroom full of white people, right? Boardroom full of white people. As I wave at this white family, hey, yeah, what's going on? I just, that's a black man?
No.
Okay, never mind. He just looks black. Anyway, when it comes down to
there being a whole Asian couple sitting right here eating their food next to us, you just offended them.
No, I didn't. I think I embraced their culture. All right.
Well, it wasn't their culture. You know they're different. I'm not gonna get into it. Keep going.
But in regards or respect to what you were just talking about in regards to code switching, we're mostly talking about black people walking into a corporate setting of an office, and a lot of the times not being themselves when they walk into that room, but having to take on an alter ego, alter personality, alter persona. I know people like that in my life. Like, I truly know somebody. I know somebody whose name is Javonta. All right, but when they
put him out there.
If she's listening, I love you. But there's a woman I know named Javonta, and every place that she decides to go fill out a job application that she deems to be a place of white people authority or whatever, whether it's the hotels or a post office, it goes on and she's like, hey, my name is Jay. All right, I want to be Jay. I don't want to be called Javonta when I'm walking into this room. I go by Jay. And that's a form of assimilation. That's also a form of her idea of code switching, on top of the fact of how she decides to change her dialect, change her tone, change exactly how her vernacular would normally be. That is actually truly code switching. What I'm referencing when it comes down to code switching is just adapting. All right, there's adaptability. The person that you were talking about before, in regards of every time they hop on the phone and they're handling business, I believe that person was adapting to the environment versus actually giving up the person's morals and values to be in that environment. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but it's, regardless of what you're saying, it's still called code switching. At the end of the day, it's called code switching, Ben. I understand you don't like the idea of it, but I'm trying to go back to what you said before about the Mexican person working at the Chinese restaurant. What did that have to do with anything?
Because I wanted to take it out the context of just being a black and white thing and thinking about.
But you made them speak a whole nother language.
I mean, okay.
You know, people who are at like Asian restaurants, Chinese restaurants, they speak English.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Right. To their customers who is in America who might be ordering from them, they speak regular English.
Well, what I will say is, in respect to Mexicans and the Asian community, all right, again, I think a lot of the times when we talk about the idea of code switching, a black person walking into a boardroom full of white people, sometimes they feel like they have to give up who they are to be in these rooms.
Okay.
I believe that some of them do, and then some learn how to adapt. Jay-Z told y'all before, I can show you how to move in a room full of vultures. Mm-hmm. All right. Sometimes those vultures are those people in the boardrooms, and sometimes you either give up your morale and values, or you become who you are.
But after you adapt, and then they're adapting, and they have adapted into that room. When they go home, do they stay adapted, or do they go back to what they're used to in their communities?
They grow.
What, bro? What? You know what? One thing about being is he not gonna say he wrong.
I'm not
You
wrong.
are wrong. What are you saying?
Bro, they grow because
no, you're saying once they have adapted and they're like, okay, now I know how to be in front of these white people, this corporate setting. I understand how to be. You mean to tell me they taking that same way that they are at work back to the crib?
Yeah. So check this out. If you learn to adapt, right? If you just grow up, adapt, and evolve, the point of evolution is to learn along the way of you evolving. Along the way of you evolving is the adaptation that you had to take on along that journey.
Yeah, so you adapted to code switch.
See, that's what I'm saying. You keep confusing the two. You confusing the two.
Help, Jason.
You confusing them.
I'm saying, I'm bro.
If you code switch, you code switch. All right. That
you
means,
code. What does it mean?
If you're code switching, it means you truly didn't gave up your values, who you are as a person. It's like
that's not what that means.
No, that's not too deep, Jason, because that's what happens. To the people I've seen code switch, I've known some cats out there who straight from the hood, right? But because they got an opportunity to work at a place that they deem that was super successful, maybe Pfizer Forum, right? But because you're the janitor there now, or forget the janitor, the security guard. Now you feel like you top flight security. You know what I'm saying? You take on this false idea of who you are. You end up taking on this false. Even the profession.
I'm telling you right now, security at Pfizer Forum is not a corporate, but okay.
But somebody in that security believes that. I guarantee you.
Yeah, they probably do believe it. And so they're going to act accordingly while at Pfizer, but when they go home, they're not about to act the same way.
And that is my point. That's the code switch. That's the code switch.
But they're not giving up their values and their morals.
Yes,
they're just adapting.
Yes, they are. No, they're not adapting. They're code switching. That's what we're talking about right here. If you can't wake up in the morning and then go to work and be who you are in your life. Hold on. If you wake up in the morning and you go to work, right, and you end up ultimately becoming a whole new person when you at work. When you come home, you're not that same person. You have code switched. But if you adapted and walked into that room, became the person that you needed to be in that room, learned who you needed to be in that room, and go home and still be the same person, that is adaptation. Code switching is, oh man, I'm finna go up here to this job right now and talk different, walk different, think different. Whatever my boss is telling me, I'm finna just listen to. But when I go home, I feel like I'm the top down. I'm Teflon down. I'm beating my wife. You know what I'm talking about? You're literally code switching. If you are who you are and that, like you said you were, you wouldn't have to change. You wouldn't have to code switch. You just adapt in different rooms that, again, people would have deemed before weren't meant for you. That's what I'm talking about. There's code switching and there's an adaptation. Okay, and along the point of you adapting, see, you going to your Googles and stuff now. But look, as long as if you're going to adapt, you're going to learn. Okay, you're going to evolve through that adaptation, just like any other creature out here in the world.
I feel as though when you adapt, you go into that room and you know, like, okay, this is how I have to act when I am around these people. This is how I have to act whenever I'm out in a certain public space or whatever. But you adapting is just you knowing that, hey, this is how I act when I'm around certain groups of people. That's adapting. You're still code switching in that process because you might not be able to have the same vernacular that you have with a black person that you will with a white person. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden for the rest of your life you're going to talk like how you talk to white people, to people who just in the hood. No, it just means, hey, I understand that I have to adapt when I'm in this room, so that means I'm going to have to code switch in order to get done what I need to get done. Now, you got the real extreme examples. And I understand what you're saying, but that is not the full definition of whatever code switching is.
You know what? Code switching to me is really just selling out. That's really what it is. So you got a code switch.
So you just got beef with code switching. And I said that in the beginning of this. All you had to say was, yes, I do. That's all you had to say. Because I literally said that just because you don't code switch, it doesn't mean that a lot of people in society, in America, I'm just saying America, that doesn't mean that they don't have to go through that in order to just make it through their day to day to get the check that they have to get and go back. To me, it might be looked at as a little bit of fake, but it's you adapting to the environment that you need to be in so you can make some money and go back home. Okay. What's next?
All I'm just saying is that if you're going to code switch, then just know that one day somebody going, you're not going to end up with the life that you want. That's all I'm going to say. And just make certain that you are yourself each and every day. Learn who you are as a person.
Shout out to the Henny Code in the chat. He says code switching is different from selling out. I think Ben is describing selling out versus code switching. I would agree. You talk about you selling out.
I agree.
Oh,
You thinking of the deep? That's what I'm saying. You
hopping
thinking
on Zech.
deep?
Y'all hopping on Zech. All right, y'all. This what y'all do to me.
You're just wrong, Ben.
I really wasn't wrong. Okay.
I don't think he's wrong because code switching is a part of adaptation.
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
But I'm in regards to code switching and adaptation, I think that you were just thinking about it as.
No, you said what I was thinking about it as? Talk about what you was thinking about it as.
I explained it. I explained it pretty well. Okay.
No, you didn't. It was actually pretty trash.
I think there's adaptation, and then, like I said before, there is, just code switching. Code switching is kind of akin to selling out. But in your frame of mind or reference of mind, I think you were also thinking about code switching.
I think in everyone's. I think in Jason's. I think in everybody listening on YouTube. I think they would agree as well.
Call it right now, 833-212-1017. Am I crazy? All right, am I crazy? Is adaptation and code switching not two different things? Call in 833-212-1017. Hit us live on the YouTube chat right now. I want to hear from you, okay? So you can get your voice heard. Yeah. Well, ultimately, I can just prove if I'm crazy.
I mean, but you be selling out all the time. Like, I feel like you would sell out if you were to join Rock Nation.
Bro, you know what? I see what you're doing. I don't like it. Okay. I see what you're doing and I don't like it.
Why? What'd I do?
All right.
What did I do?
For one, all right, I throw up the rock because I am a part of the rock.
Because you want to sell yourself out to be part of the Illuminati.
Nah, man. I'm not selling myself out for the Illuminati, okay? Truth be told, I really thought about it that, because, sometimes I just troll. I'll just be out here trolling, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes I just troll. But then when I got to throwing up the rock, I was like, bro, we're on these airwaves, people watching on YouTube. Each and every time I throw up the rock, maybe I am sending out signals out there into the world and the universe that might come back and raise me up to actually become the person who's supposed to save the world.
What?
Yeah, man.
Through the Illuminati?
Through the Illuminati. Like, what if, because this is what I really think. Like, what if a righteous man did come through and gain all the power of the world, and actually be able to bring light to the world, goodness to the world, and joy to the world?
But he was part of the Illuminati.
What if you have to what if you have to go through that just to, come through and set your people free?
I feel like Jesus already did that, and he did it in the right way.
I think he did it in his time, how he was supposed to do it.
You think someone else needs to come and do it in this day and age?
People get crucified every day.
So you're saying somebody needs to come through, take all the evil of the Illuminati if it's going to be used in order to do something good for the world and set their people free.
Yeah.
I don't think we need that if you have Jesus.
I think we have.
But me, I just, I'm a heavy Jesus believer. Jason know this. Everybody know this.
Yeah, I think we have Jesus. I think some people lack their relationship with Jesus. I think that's what is going down. People have lost their relationship with Jesus, and at some point it needs to be rebuilt. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but my point with that is I think that people who have Jesus and they have the relationship with Jesus, they already know that they are free.
Again, some of those folks, I see, there's one thing about knowing, but there's just like actually believing,
Yeah.
Like if you just believe that you're free, then now I think that's really where it's at. But like, I don't think knowing is enough. You know what I'm saying? No, that sounds confusing to you, huh?
No, I understand what you're saying.
In a minute.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you kind of contradicting yourself in a sense because you're saying if people believe that they are free, then they are, versus knowing that they are free, then that means we don't need to have somebody be a part of the Illuminati like yourself and be the person to free everybody in the world.
But then knowing would also go to say that you're looking for that external validation. But when you believe it, it's coming from internal, and internal will be you being more closer to God and more closer to heaven. So if you believe it, it comes from you and you permeate that energy out there. But knowing is just like how, 50 years ago, they would have said that, we are free then, right? When they had said that. But here we are. We still had to go through the civil rights movement. We had to go ahead and see that we weren't free because they could still control us by our food. They control us by what we take in. I mean, hell, they went in through crack out there, right? And that was a biochemical warfare that was put down on the people. And they knew what would happen. So were we free then? Nah, because they knew eventually it would hit some of us. And then they'd be able to put us back into the prisons.
Like actual free no, we weren't free back then. But as far as free in the mind, yes.
You know, I like that you just pointed to your head like that because, you know, I reference a lot of Don't Be a Menace while growing up in the hood, sipping your juice. You know, with the Wayans brothers, shout out to them. Taught me a lot of things at the age of 10, you know.
That was a parody movie. So what did it teach you?
One of the things, so there was a mailman on there.
Message, when they kept saying message.
Exactly. Every time Sean Wayans, anybody who was an actor in that movie would actually go and do
Try to
something
enlighten
profound
the
and
people.
prolific. That was one of the first scenes of the message thing popping up. Sean Wayans goes, it hurts me to see my people out here suffering. Although we were free, we were still slaves in the mind. Message, you know, that runs so true with not just only myself but a lot of our community. You know, we may go on and believe that we're free, but I mean not believe, but feel like we are free because of the propaganda that's promoted out here. But up until we actually truly believe, like it's here in our hearts, that we're free, then that's when we'll actually break away from the chains and shackles of what America has given us.
Right. I agree, but that's what I'm saying. As long as you believe it, you don't need some person to try to join the Illuminati to be the one to free the people. If you already believe that you are free.
In all religions, there's always a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, but I mean, we already had him. I mean, depending on what your religion is, you know.
Hey.
So you saying there should be a new religion where that person, part of that new religion, gets sacrificed?
No new religion. Just a man of the people, a woman of the people, somebody really willing to put the rest of humanity on their back. You know.
Okay.
And I think we kind of, you know, because there's. The Bible says there will be false prophets. That's what the Bible says. That there will truly be false prophets that come upon us. And, you know, I really believe that like that time more than ever has come up now.
Yeah.
You know, so there was an incident that happened yesterday here in Milwaukee. I'm not going to go down all that entire rabbit hole, but what I will go on to say is a lot of the kids at this event truly looked at each and every one of these artists as heroes. Like when each and every one of these artists would hit the stage, oh my God, the kids are going crazy. But it also goes to say that these kids are also heavily influenced by these artists.
Yeah, they're influencers.
They're influencers, right? They influence them to either do positive or negative, right? They have the power, right? But this is at a very small level. We're just only here in Milwaukee. How many more of those artists are out there that have that kind of influence? How many more influencers out there have that influence to persuade the people, persuade the masses to either do right or do wrong, right? There's many of them. We even see them as far as when we talk about even our top tier celebrities of the day, whether it's Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, whomever. Hell, even now, who may be the next new president, Donald J. Trump, right? He may be the 47th president for real.
That's who you picked.
I'm just saying. Okay?
I mean, you could have said the other one, but
Joe Biden's running too. All right, and he has influence as well. Okay, but
we have influence.
We do have influence, but all I'm saying is a lot of the times when it comes down to the influence and who has the power of the people, the eyes of the people, they have the option to either persuade you to do right or do wrong. And when it comes down to it, we just need somebody to push us in the greater direction and not the opposite.
So you're saying maybe somebody that these new kids can kind of relate to because they don't really relate to Jesus?
I think they can relate to Jesus, but I'm just saying that the person or the vessel that is used to persuade the masses back into the right direction has to come. So at some point, somebody out there needs to do it, or whether it's even just a movement. Because I don't think there could ever just be another Jesus or anything like that.
No, I get what you're saying. Because we need some better leaders. Kind of like how we had like the Dr. Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X's of the world, and all of these people who kind of help move everybody to one
in a better direction.
Yeah, in a better direction, all for one common goal. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because like I even think about Diddy did what he did, and it's very disappointing. But it also made me think, not even just a Diddy. I'm thinking about a Bill Cosby. I'm thinking about a R. Kelly. All these people again.
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez. all these people, and it goes on, right? The list truly goes on. But all these people had a lot of influence over the minds of other people, and all throughout their life, you know, they always left little clues to unsubtleties to push different narratives. But even throughout the things we didn't see on the TV screen, like through their relationships, they also did a lot of dark things to people. It made me think to myself, like, I'm not saying that these guys were false messiahs, but when they got the power, they didn't know what to do with the power, so they grew out of control. But if you were to give that same power to a righteous man, a righteous spirit, a righteous woman, whomever it may be, you know, I would love to see what they do with the power. Like, I was actually talking to Tori Lowe the other day.
Maybe Lil Russell.
Yeah, maybe Lil Russell. Like, seriously, because even with the overturn of what just happened with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, it also goes to say that, like I told you before, I feel like this opens up a whole new window for the masses to come in, you know, and actually create a new superstar, because it's been limited so much because of a guy by the name of Drake, you know. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But,
yeah, we're going to have to talk about that a little later, because I want to dive deep into what you're saying, because I don't understand it.
Well, what I'm saying is, when it comes down to the idea of power and influence, I feel like there is now about to be an opening, a window, a pocket for somebody to actually come in, or to come in and actually spread their positivity, love, and nature. You know?
But why are you saying it's coming after this beef? Like, what does that have to do with it? I guess.
When I use the idea of the beef, that's just an example of that of things that's happening when it comes down to the idea of new entertainers and celebrities who normally control the minds and the eyes and the ears of the masses. So now I do believe we will be able to create a new superstar, because we haven't seen a new superstar in about the past 15 years of music. All right, of music. And music happens to be one of the biggest fields that, again, control the minds and the ears of the masses, and a lot of people tend to look towards. Even when we talk about, like, actors, we haven't seen a really big actor in a minute. Like, when me and you were kids, we would think about the Brad Pitts, we think about the Tom Cruises, the Denzel Washingtons, the Will Smiths, you know, all these gentlemen, right? But we haven't seen that in a minute, so it being a lack of means that it will be a surplus amount of them soon in the future, just because of all the things that have been happening.
I don't know. I think that maybe it might be a while before we get that, just because now there are so many different options that we have to choose from, as far as things to watch, movies we want to watch, songs that we want to listen to. And back in the day, there was only like a few options or a few ways to get you to stardom. Same with like being an actor. There were only so many movies that are going to be made that could get you to where you got to go. But now with options like Tubi, or like you have so many content creators like Country Wayne. I look at Country Wayne skits still on like YouTube, Facebook, that type of thing. Yeah. All of those actors are, you know, could be really big. But because there are so many options, I think it's going to be very hard to have that one superstar again, because everybody has so many options that we're not able to just watch the same things anymore. Like, everybody has their own interests and things that they actually want to watch and actually want to, you know, look at for entertainment, even when it comes to music. So I don't know when we'll have somebody who everybody around the world is like watching. You know, because there are so many options now. It's crazy almost. But I also think that that's a good thing, because now there are so many more people who can, on their own, make money when they want to. They can, you know, be full-time and whatever it is that they need to and make some money. I just don't know what we're doing with the money as black people. You know, are we taking this money and making sure that we break the generational curses? Are we taking this money to make sure that our families, kids and grandkids are able to, you know, survive long after we are gone? I think the people who are making money right now, not all of them, but I'll say some of them, I think they are being a little bit more selfish with their riches. And I feel like I just like went all the way around.
No,
but
I know what you're talking about.
I don't think that we'll have like a super, super big one. The biggest one I can think of right now, or what it could have been, was he's with Megan Good.
Oh, as far as actor, yeah, he was on.
He could have.
You talking about Jonathan Majors?
Yes, Jonathan Majors. I think he really could have.
Yeah.
Been the next one.
Yeah,
but if not him, because I feel like before him it was like Idris Elba. But maybe it could be Damson Idris. Maybe Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan is an A-list celebrity. Like, he's definitely like.
No, he's up there, but I guess what I'm saying is, are people really looking up to him like how they look up to Will Smith? you know, or even with the movies he was in, how much money did it make in the box office? Like, did you see that list of Will Smith's, all his movies in the box office and how much money it made? Like, that's insane.
I think especially when we even talk about that idea of like the charts and how much numbers it made, it's definitely going to be different because, I mean, 30 years ago, a lot of people went to the theaters, right?
Yeah.
But Michael B. Jordan is in a different era, and we can't kind of compare the eras. But what I will say is I do believe that Michael B. Jordan is set up for the success he's supposed to get in his time, and whomever else might join that league, like you just said, Damon Idris, Damson Idris, Damson Idris.
Whoa.
All these names, I tell you. But yeah, even if it is him, you know, I would like to see that. But personally, I think the reason why we're not seeing everybody on the big screen how we used to, again, like the old Hollywood used to be, we used to have E!T, E! News running.
Right, we only had a couple media outlets for entertainment to even watch these stars on. Now we got everybody.
So you had to be cycled through the television, so to speak. I think that system's going to come back once it all gets figured out all again. I said this before, and I say it again. I mean, the internet has been in a wild, wild west space for its inception. You know, since the 2000s, I'd say, since it became searchable. You know, so now that we have been fast forward 24 years into the future with it, we're still figuring it out. Like, one thing that I'm actually excited about, and this may sound crazy, is I'm glad that people are starting to not like twerk videos anymore. Like
I can agree with that.
I'm telling you,
because y'all are decent. You men are desensitized. Not even just the men. Everybody is desensitized to it now.
I don't want to see no more ass shaking on my Instagram. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. I done seen enough.
When you seen them one, you seen them all.
And I've been seeing them plenty over the past 14 years or however long Facebook and Instagram I've been an active member for. Okay, I've seen enough, and I'm good with it. All right.
Why do you think people are, getting tired of it? What did you see to say that?
One of the biggest reasons, honestly, is because I'm seeing, and I'm loving it as well. I'm seeing this big push from the female hip hop community. I'm seeing a lot more of them being like, well, you know what? I don't shake my ass in my videos. You know, I'm fully clothed up, and you guys are gonna love me for my art. So that
name them.
Dang, I wish I could name the ladies right now.
Because
one of them who recently went viral was on like the Shade Room. Another, dang, I wish I could remember their names. But what I'm saying is they're even getting tired of promoting their sex and promoting their bodies in regards of like, hey, this is all I have to offer. Like, okay, you have the Ice Spices of the world and the previous City Girls of the world, or whatever you want to say. But in regards to how I see this new wave of women actually moving, it's like, bro, I'm going to be more clothed up. Actually, you know what? Tim's. The
African singer.
The African singer. She just came out and said, you know what? I actually wear more baggier clothing because ultimately I don't want people to be so focused on my body. I want people to actually love my music, and that just screams to me like, bro, I'm tired of having to do a twerk video to promote my song. I'm tired of doing a twerk video to promote my album. And there has not only just been an actor or an artist like her, but there's been more artists out there just like her saying the same things, like we have more to offer. And with that being said, it also goes to say that there's a lane wide open for plenty of women who like to rap or like to sing, who don't want to promote their body, where people and fans out there will just love you strictly for your art and not for your
personality.
And your personality. True indeed.
I would love to hear more from those type of women, because I've seen the opposite. I've seen more women who are, now what I have seen is more women who are saying like, I don't need to go get my body done. Like, I don't need to go get the BBL. I don't need to go get, my chest done and things like that.
Yeah.
But they still out here shaking their natural bodies, know. But I would love that as well, for more women to just care about the art. That's why I think I loved her so much when she came out.
There you go.
Because her is literally one of my most favorite artists of this generation, because when she first came out, all you heard was the music, because she didn't even show her face. And that was before, she wasn't even really on social like that. And even when she was, she had the sunglasses on, and then eventually she started taking the sunglasses off, and we have seen her full face now. But even with that, she's usually covered up. She wears modest clothing. And I love that. You know, she just wants people to focus on her music. I appreciate that. So hopefully we do get more people like her, like Tim's, who are saying, yo, I don't want to do it. Because I just saw Scarlett not too long ago. She was twerking in a music video, and people was coming at her because they were like, yo, what are you doing? This is not you. Why are you twerking in a music video? And then she goes on to address the issue and goes to say, look, that nobody told me to do this. This is just something that I wanted to do, because pretty much saying like, I'm a woman, that's how I show my femininity, that's how I feel sexy, is by doing that type of stuff, and I shouldn't have to get nobody's approval in order to do that. And she's like, don't put me in a box. You know, I can do it all. I can do whatever it is that I want to do with my body, how I want to do it. But it just didn't seem natural. Me personally, I feel like maybe somebody told her to do it, and she just like had to fall in love with the idea a little bit. It had to seem sexy to her, but it just didn't seem natural. Like that's what she wanted to go on in that music video. So I mean, it is what it is as far as that, but hopefully more women do that, and men too. Not twerking necessarily, but I want the men who are making rap songs to stop calling these women bees, stop saying like being overly sexual, having overly sexual lyrics, coming at women and things like that. That shouldn't be a thing either. Like, let's stop that too. Let's stop all the shooting as well up in these songs, because y'all know y'all ain't never shot nobody in your life, so why are you talking about it in a song?
That's true.
Meet me outside. How about that?
You ain't lying. People just be, acting in their rap.
Yeah, so it just needs to change. Like, a lot of it needs to change. It needs to be a whole new cycle of music. And I feel it coming. Like, me and you have talked about it before. Like, I feel a shift happening. I don't know what the shift looks like, but I feel like people are getting tired of the mediocrity. I think people are getting tired of the twerking, like you just said. I think people are tired of these lyrics that got the same message in them over and over and over again. Why can't people just be original anymore? Right. So I do appreciate all of that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to the future.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to the future, Carrie, because ultimately, again...
Carrie?
I can't call you Carrie, bro.
You don't call me Carrie.
Well, I just did. That's your name.
Why did you call me Carrie?
That's your name, ain't it? That's your name, Carrie.
Every time you say Carrie, you usually stop yourself and be like, hey, I'm calling you Carrie. Oh, juice. You didn't do that this time.
Am I a robot or something?
Yeah.
I can't act out. Look, your name is Carrie. Okay, you better own that.
Okay.
Well, you own
okay,
Carrie.
Benjamin. Okay, when you call me Carrie, I'm calling you Benjamin.
Benjamin, dang, you calling me Benjamin, bro?
I can't call you Benjamin. That's your name, ain't it? Ain't your name Benjamin? I gotta be a robot. I'm sick of you.
You so funny, bro.
No, that's you. This is a good talk, though. I really appreciate having this with you. I always feel like we get a whole lot better by doing this, because we got to do it literally for like an hour straight, no breaks, no nothing, just talking, literally just be chopping it up, kind of like a podcast. But
this is good therapy. I'm not gonna lie, it's good therapy. I'll be needing this. I'll be like, come on now, let's chop it up, man. Chop it up.
Especially because I feel like I barely have seen you all this week.
For real?
Yes, it feels like I've barely seen you this week.
How, bro? I
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do feel
it just feels weird this week.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. You've like from Juneteenth yesterday, Summerfest today, Summerfest tomorrow. We had a guest on Monday, and we had guests on Tuesday.
You know what? I know what you mean now, fam, because we really ain't been able to chop it up like that. Like, that's true, bro. Because I mean, even tomorrow, right? We're gonna be at the Steam and Dream event.
Yeah.
Like, come on, after Summerfest. We are busy. Okay, busy.
That is very true, y'all.
Shout out to Britt in the chat too. Shout out to y'all, Britt.
And MT. I see you, MT, in the chat as well. We appreciate y'all for kicking with us, especially at on this show on a Thursday from 6 to 7, because we don't promote it like that. So for y'all to still be tapped in with us, we appreciate it so much.
But I will say, make sure that y'all do tap into Jammin with Juice tomorrow between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. either in your car, on your airwaves, or on YouTube. I prefer YouTube, all right? Come see our pretty
give us the views.
Give us some views. Give us some subscribes. Subscribe to us now.
Some comments.
Give us some comments. But ultimately, tomorrow we will be tapped in, and make sure that you tap in with us each and every day so you can enjoy us, so you can sip on a little juice.
Because it is Thursday. Thirsty Thursday, and that's what happens when you are tapped in and sipping on Jammin' with Juice. So I'm your girl, Noni Juice, always keeping it juicy. That has been Jammin'.
It's amazing.
Shout out to Jason Smith on the ones and twos, always doing what needs to be done. And we appreciate y'all. Okay, now sip on that. Happy Thirsty Thursday, y'all. It's Jammin' with Juice.